Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. We are the podcast that's dedicated to hearing both sides of the argument. It's a civilized debate and discussion, not your just typical echo chamber where you just hear the usual people talking, validating all the things you already know and have heard. We'd like to hear from different sides. We
I'm
have
going for
our.
uncivilized tonight. Sorry.
Yay.
Is that blood in your eyes, Josh?
Yes.
I think it's dripping from his tongue is what it's doing. Jeez.
So Josh is representing the conservative side. Ryan is representing the liberal side. Josh is wearing purple for some reason. Maybe he's going to try and be neutral.
It's
Probably
like
not.
red. I thought it was red. I didn't want to get in trouble tonight for wearing the wrong colors. So I was like,
Just to be clear, Josh is also colorblind.
I am colorblind.
So that is he's got a fair excuse for not knowing what color he's wearing tonight.
I found that out playing Risk with Tommy, actually. Funny story.
Right. I was kicking his butt. I'm like, oh, those are my guys, Josh. Sorry.
They're all my guys.
I thought I suddenly owned all of Europe. It's like, I'm killing it.
Tonight we're going to be talking about USAID, the government agency that deals with humanitarian aid and other things. And then we'll see where that goes. We might be all talking about some other things, but you've got a lot of stuff going on, so we're excited. First,
I'm getting like 15 breaking news alerts per day on my phone.
Glorious.
From the New York Times.
It's glorious.
Yeah, we're gonna take over the Gaza Strip.
Our sponsors, Lux Bidets.
We're
a big bidet. If anyone doesn't know what a bidet is, it is a device you can put on your toilet, or you buy it. The toilet comes with it. It built into the toilet, and it will spray water onto your tush to wash it off, as opposed to smearing your crap, literally your crap, across your butt. So.
Have you guys tried a built-in bidet? My wife and I were just discussing this. She was cleaning the toilet, and she's like, we should look into getting a built-in. It might be easier to clean because I'm redoing my whole house, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't really used one.
Not here in the U.S., internationally.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've used an old school one in Spain where it's basically just a sink and you squat over it and
it sprays up.
It's weird.
Like a fountain.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend those. Some of them
drinks from it occasionally.
The really old ones, they didn't even spray up. You just filled it and you just sprinkled up onto your butt. Those are the really old school ones. I didn't use that one. It was gross, but
yeah, it's a little weird.
Get a bidet.
Yeah, if there was ever a time that you needed a bidet, now is the time, because there is shit everywhere. How is that? How is that? That was a good one. That was a good promo for Lux.
If you were right, it would have been.
All right, let's dive in.
Yeah.
What's the start? Jeez.
Do you want to introduce the idea of it, the story, kind of like the news, Ryan? Do you want to
on USAID?
Yeah, let's hear Ryan's biased take first. Yeah.
So my biased take, I'm going to start by saying I'm eating a little bit of crow. So this is how biased I am. I bet against Elon Musk. I did not think he was going to last very long because his ego is the size of Mount Rushmore, and so is Donald Trump's. And I was like, there's no way they're going to work together. Turns out I may have been wrong. We'll see how long it lasts. We're only in week 3. But Elon Musk has sent a whole bunch of engineers, which is weird, throughout the federal government, and they are hacking the place to pieces, starting with USAID, which he did describe as a criminal organization. I don't think that's fair. He has suggested that he wants to cut the roughly 10,000 employees down to about 290 and eviscerate the budget of a roughly $40 billion. He started by freezing all of the money that they have, which has already started to result in kids starving to death in Africa. So I did say I have mixed opinions or mixed feelings about this. I will get to that, but that's like the brief intro to what's happening with USAID. Josh, you seem really excited by this. Tom, I don't know where you fall, but Go. What's your take? Are we excited by Doge?
Oh yeah. It's
But
so good.
Love dead
Ryan,
babies.
what's your take? You're always like, that was very objective.
Well,
But
it was
like,
kind of objective, but
it was pretty objective.
Well,
I mean,
I don't think
kudos.
it's arguable that like
Off the
babies
top.
are dying, but
Okay,
yeah.
but that's what you immediately go to. We got rid of all of this corruption. This is like, okay, Robin Hood, he's stealing from the rich and he's giving 1% to the poor, but he's pocketing the other 99%. Yay, Robin Hood, you're the best man. Like, that's kind of what USAID is doing. Okay, they're stealing a whole bunch of taxpayer money. Are there some good
Stealing?
programs? Yes.
They're not stealing it.
Yes,
Well,
they're stealing
okay.
taxpayer money.
T-
If you look at the stuff they're funding, okay, should we go just off the top of my head? They're funding trans comic books in Colombia. They're funding some weird
That's
pro
not theft,
trans.
though, Josh. Like, let's be clear about what theft is.
Did anybody know they're doing this? No.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
It's all
who
public.
Knew? Who knew? Nobody knew. And
Well,
they're
just
spending
because you
billions
don't
of dollars.
know, that's an
Okay.
argument from ignorance.
They're
That means
spending-
nothing.
Oh, shut up.
Well-
They're spending billions of dollars on liberal funds, on liberal programs, on
I know,
on
feeding those
trans-
babies.
See
Yeah,
that
those
right there.
liberal
That's where I can't. I was
bastards.
going
liberal
to.
bastards.
Shut up. I let you speak.
But let's.
I was going to applaud you for walking back on Elon. Right? Good. Awesome. Love it. But then I can't say you're unbiased because immediately you go to this tiny little. Oh yeah, a couple of babies. I mean, maybe I don't know if this is
Tens of thousands.
fact. Tens of thousands of babies have died in the last 3 weeks.
No. They are going to starve to death. I was literally just before this episode reading an episode in The Guardian talking about all of the programs that have lost their funding, and many of those are basically feeding poor kids in Africa.
Okay, good.
Right.
And do you think
good, or what do you mean good? Be careful what you're saying here.
No, I'm not even
doesn't
careful what I'm
sound
saying
good.
here. You're being so pedantic right now. Do you really think Trump, who's all about the headlines and all about winning, do you think he's going to let that headline go? Like, oh yeah, we just killed a bunch of babies. No, they killed USAID because it was so corrupt they couldn't save it. Because when Elon went to Trump and said, "Look, this is riddled with problems and pork spending and graft. Like, this is terrible." And Trump said, "Well, can't we save it?" And Elon said, "No, it's too corrupt. We're going to have to rebuild it." So yeah, it does do some good stuff, but we have billions of dollars being spent so heinously. Otherwise, why would they be cutting it? You're like, I don't know where you get your news, but some of these programs, like, they're funding Hamas. They found that USAID is funding Hamas directly. They're funding all of the legacy media corporations that I can't figure out why they're still in business. I can't figure out why CNN is still in business. Turns out they're getting tens of millions of dollars from USAID, right? So when you look at all that, yeah, of course we don't want babies starving, and that's where the liberals are just glomming onto the 1% that Robin Hood is giving back, but they don't care about the 99% that Robin Hood is keeping for himself that is literally bankrupting America. Okay, I don't want babies to die.
To talk about here.
All right, go Tom.
Ryan, is there anything that's come out? Because so a lot of the revelations have been things that have like surprised people that USAID has been funding, and has there anything that's come out that you've been like, oh wow, that's interesting, or surprise, or disappointing?
No. So the only reason that I said I have mixed opinions about this, right? I've said it many, many times on this podcast. We're the poorest country. I agree with Josh on this, right? And I think Tom
this is how we wrapped up our last podcast, right?
Is
if we don't fix
the poorest country,
the spending and the greed and the theft and all that stuff, we're doomed. That's how we ended the last podcast.
So I don't like the framing. So I think we're disagreeing on like theft and, all of that stuff. No one's stealing anything. Like, this is public money that's being spent in public ways. They have to account for everything. So I don't like the framing there, but skipping that, right? Why I've got mixed opinions on this is I am worried about our spending, and I appreciate the attempt to rein in spending. Okay. Now, just to put this into perspective, the entire budget, and I'm not saying that this is fine, that we should just spend it, right? The entire budget for USAID is less than 1% of the federal budget.
Right.
Okay. So we're getting it like small peanuts here. Now,
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm okay with that, right? Like anything that is wasteful or even inefficient to give, DOGE its due, sure, cut it. I'm totally down with it. I've learned some interesting things about the Office of Budget and Management, that they overpaid something to the tune of like $400 billion last year. And that was just financial, like accounting errors where they overpaid people, and nothing's happened with that, right? Like they know it and they're just like, oh, oops, sorry. So
Oops.
I'm 100% on board with like, yeah, that's almost $500 billion that we could save by just doing a better job with our math, right? Those things seem obvious to me. And just to be clear, that's 10 times the budget of USAID in just doing better accounting. But okay, so this is why I say I have mixed opinions. Sure, Josh wants to focus on like, I don't know, trans comics in Colombia as though that's like a half of the budget, right? Like $20 billion.
Never said that.
I know. I'm just
Thank you for
saying,
putting words
Josh,
in my
like,
mouth.
Josh, you focused on that. I'm focusing on the babies who are now starving to death, right? Obviously, there's a lot of other stuff going on. I'm okay digging into this and trying to figure it out. But to literally just be like, we're going to kill this entire division of the government, which Trump legally can't do, but that hasn't stopped him. And I'm sure we're going to talk about the legality of everything that he's doing right now. A federal judge just stopped this, right? A federal judge is like, nope, you can't do that because Congress actually established USAID. You can't just kill it, right? Now, he's going to try. I get it. This is his MO. This is what he wants to do this time around. But yeah, I think this is, again, do I want to rein in spending? 100%. Do I think a blanket cutting off of all support for USAID makes sense? No, I don't. I can't get behind that, right? And there's a whole other piece to this that I'd love to get your guys' perspectives on this. Let's say we cut 10,000 employees from the federal government. What are they going to do?
They'll have to get real jobs. Dang.
Because there are jobs.
So I mean, Trump's aware of this. One of the first things he did is he said, "Hey, we're going to be making some cuts here. Anybody that wants to get out ahead of this, we will pay you until September, and you can leave and go find another job." Like he's aware of that. He's not a cruel person just cutting people because it's funny. Okay, like he's trying to make provisions for this. But you just agreed we have problems with the government being too big and overspending and all this crap. What else are you going to do? You're going to just keep employing all these people who aren't doing jack crap?
Okay. Don't put words into my mouth. I didn't say that, did I? This is a complicated issue. I think there are better ways to go about shrinking the government, to do it in the course of like a week, right? To cut 10,000 jobs. And I get that they're like, hey, you can voluntarily do this. They're not voluntarily doing it with USAID anymore. They've literally said, we're going from 10,000 employees down to 290, and we're folding it into the State Department, and we're eviscerating the budget, right? Okay, so what are we going to do with the 10,000 people who did have jobs and now don't? That's an interesting question. And if we keep going, right, can our economy pull in the 7 million federal employees that are going to be put out of jobs? No, there's no way.
How many immigrants have we been dealing with?
Oh, so if we get rid of all the immigrants, right?
Kill! Wow, your brain went to kill.
Okay.
Jeez. Woo!
Thanks, Josh. If we get rid of all of the immigrants, you think all of those federal employees are going to take their jobs?
No, what I'm saying is our economy has been handling an influx of millions of illegal immigrants. I think we can handle 10,000 educated white people. I don't think it's going to be a problem. And I have no sympathy for them because if they're running this office with 10,000 employees and Elon can get them to do the same job with 200 employees, they're incompetent idiots with an agenda, and they're not doing their jobs anyway. So I have no problem with them being fired. Sorry, I have no sympathy for this. None whatsoever.
And no sympathy for the babies dying in Africa.
I already said I did. You keep inferring that I didn't.
I wanted to get you on the record.
I already said yes. Trump will make provisions for it. He
has done
big
nothing
headlines.
for that. He has done nothing for that, Josh.
Wow. You know he's kind of busy, right? He's been setting a record pace for a president in his first month. He's killing it. He's been very busy.
He hasn't done any of this. This is all Elon Musk.
Well, of course it's him. It's him.
Trump appointed him, and he's down with it all.
Okay, and he has said nothing about.
He said nothing about so hard.
Okay, to be fair here,
I've taken a middle ground. Not be civil tonight.
I've taken a middle ground, and you have given no territory whatsoever.
And I'm not, because I love what's happening. I love it. It was
go dead babies in Africa. That's what we're looking for.
For the third time, you put that on me. Like I like that. Good work,
Josh. Come on, he has done nothing to save this.
That's not to say he's not going to do something. Okay, understand.
They're literally dying right now. He's not doing anything right now.
About
they're
Trump.
A week, so they've always been like 7 days away from dying at all times, unless the airplane comes and brings the wheat.
They're that dependent on this corrupt government organization.
I don't think it's that dire.
Wow. Okay, I'll go ahead and start reading some of the numbers if you guys want.
Yeah,
no,
I'm sure.
I don't want, because you're being silly.
No, I'm not being silly.
Okay, Ryan.
When we see piles of dead babies in Africa, I'll walk this back. But understand something about Trump. He loves positive headlines. He loves winning. That's what he does. That's his whole MO. Okay, he doesn't like to look bad. He doesn't like bad headlines. Do you really think he's going to just twiddle his thumbs in the Oval Office while dead babies die in Africa?
Can I read this? It's not a headline. This is a sentence from an article from The Guardian in the UK.
Sure. I'm sure it's not biased at all.
Quote, across Africa, hundreds of thousands of children who rely on school meals have been left without sustenance after food was left to rot in the wake of Musk's declaration that he wanted the US aid agency to die.
What? Okay.
End quote.
What food was left to rot? I don't understand.
Food in warehouses, because the employees who were delivering it were forced no longer to work. The food is literally rotting in warehouses because he cut off all funding and told everybody to go home.
Because people were in Africa that were U.S. government or like some kind of contractor could not deliver the food, and therefore people are starving.
That was published on Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate. That just doesn't make any sense.
I'm literally reading from The Guardian, which is a legitimate newspaper.
But it is The Guardian.
Okay.
Yeah. We just found out all of these newspapers are funded by USAID. Why would they have a stick in this battle? Gee, that's weird. Why would they be blasting Trump and Elon? Oh, maybe just because they all lost tens of millions of dollars just this week. Gee, why would they be pissed?
Well, okay. So first, Ryan, do you acknowledge the funding of some of these? So the USAID is supposed to advance American interests abroad. Mm-hmm. And humanitarian aid, of course. But there's a lot of just tons of crazy stuff that's popped up that's that we're funding that just doesn't seem to make sense or seem to be advancing America's interests. There's just 20 million for Iraqi Sesame Street, 6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, 2 million for sex changes in Guatemala, 1.5 million for gender sensitive response to migration at the Venezuelan border, 27 million for George Soros prosecution fund to get people out of jail, basically. 27 million for gift bags to illegal entrants, to people entering the country. Here's your gift bag. Welcome. 4.5 million to a group to fund comprehensive health services for men having sex with other men in South Africa. Just
we need that one. We need
crazy stuff. I mean, that's just the list goes on and on. But then there's there's a lot of DEI, extremely liberal causes that we seem to be funding. And that doesn't seem to be advancing America's interest in any way, shape, or form, unless there's some secret thing that I don't know about. there's also all these liberal, like Josh was saying, these news agencies, Politico, New York Times, BBC, Politico, yeah, 8 million in subsidizing subscriptions. Like that is really, really suspect. Like that is looks so bad in so many ways that that we're just basically funding propaganda.
Like, here's how I see it, and I'm going to try to extend an olive branch because I really don't think we're that far off. Um, it looks to me like the liberals, the liberal politicians, co-opted what should be a really cool organization, and they started to add liberal causes to the funding. That's what it looks like to me, and that sickens me so much because we should be helping kids in Africa. Like that's a great noble thing. I think we're not too far off here. I think we all agree on this. But it's pretty obvious that the liberals stepped in and started doing this weird backdoor funding through a legitimate organization where it looks like a huge chunk of the budget, I don't know the actual numbers, but it's probably over half the budget, is being used to fund liberal programs and liberal interests. That doesn't represent me. That doesn't represent the United States. That represents strange, tiny little minority liberal groups. It's really bizarre, and it sickens me that they co-opted this organization for it. That's the problem. That's what's so disgusting here. And it's kind of incontrovertible that that's exactly what they've done.
Like, do you recognize, like, do you acknowledge that any of this, that like that's probably inappropriate or that there's a massive abuse of funds?
It's abuse of power. It's insane.
Ryan?
Uh, this, yeah, this is kind of amazing. Look, okay. Let me try. I don't know that there was any real olive branch extended here, but let's try here for a second because I'm trying. Are there some things that USAID was doing that were good?
Absolutely.
Okay. So like Tom, you can agree with this. Josh, you agree with this?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So we agree there were things they were doing that probably all Americans would be on board with, right?
Which is the purpose of the organization, right?
Well, the purpose of the organization is actually far more complicated, and this is getting left out of the whole conversation, I think. The actual purpose of USAID is to garner goodwill towards America around the world, not actually to save the kids, right? Like, it would be great if it was literally just to feed babies. But that's actually not the purpose of USAID.
It's a political apparatus.
Thank you. That is actually the intent, is to garner goodwill towards the United States. That's why it exists. Not even to save the babies. Okay. So bracketing that, because that's actually the purpose, I think we all agree that there were good programs. Okay. So we found some common ground. There were good programs. Now, here's the part where like my mind is just kind of being blown by this conversation. What it sounds like you're both saying, and you can correct me here, is that you're perfectly fine killing all of it, including the good programs, because there were some programs that you don't like.
Ryan,
I'll go.
Like,
you can go, Tom.
Or yes, yeah. No, I want it to be. I mean, like, I might be with Josh in that, like, it might not be unsalvageable in that
This
is
Elon.
To me,
that's what Elon said. Trump wanted to save it. And Elon was
right.
like, I don't know how to save it. It's that corrupt. The corruption goes so deep in this program, I don't think we can save it. So let's rebuild it. Let's rebuild something else to do the good programs and get rid of the corruption. That's what they said. That's the goal. Because they don't know how to save it.
I look at it like this, right? Because like whenever you talk about abortion, it's always like, well, we need abortion. But what about rape and incest and when endangerment of the mother, right? And you're like, and it's always brought up. It's always brought up, right? Yep. And you're like, oh yeah, yeah. And so we need it. And then you're like, but then you look at like the percentage, right? Of like,
1%.
How often is an abortion for rape, incest, or endangerment of the mother? And Josh, I don't know if it's less than 3% or 1%. I can't
It's
remember.
like 1.5%.
So it's like, okay, 1.5%. So like it's like, yeah, we need that, but let's be honest about what's really going on with abortion, right?
Okay.
And you're
Well,
like,
This is
so
very similar.
do we want to be honest about how the money's being spent? So I'm looking right now at how the money was being spent. Do we want to pay attention to those numbers, or do we want the headlines of like, ooh, there's a weird Sesame Street program in Iraq that we don't think should be funded, right?
right.
So if you look at, this is Pew. So this is Pew, which is an independent group. They don't have connections to the government. They're not left or right. I actually know a bunch of the people who work at Pew. Here's their breakdown for U.S. foreign aid in 2023, which is the last year for which we have a full accounting of the aid. Disaster relief and other humanitarian aid. $15.6 billion, or 21.7% of total aid disbursements by the federal government in 2023.
Great.
So that's 21.7% right there.
Yes.
Efforts to solve the ongoing battle against HIV/AIDS, $10.6 billion, or 14.7%. Okay. You could disagree with that one. I don't know. Right. But that's pretty straightforward. Like, I don't see that as a liberal cause or a conservative cause. It's trying to help people because of health problems, right?
Well, there's a whole other aspect to this as well, though, and that is that I hadn't brought up, and that is that, and this was Rubio talking at a press conference saying that we're only seeing fractions of these amounts actually make it to the recipients, right? And he said in some cases it's as little as 13% is actually getting to the recipient that they were designated for, meaning implying that there's probably somewhere along the chain there's massive kickbacks happening. And
honestly, like, if that's what Elon Musk wanted to fix, I'm on board.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that. Like, I agree.
Why else would he say this thing is so corrupt that he can't fix it?
Josh, I think you're holding him up as though he's like an angel or a deity or something, and he's
doing all this for free. He wants to fix it. We talked about this in the last episode. He sees the writing on the wall. If we don't fix this crap, our country's doomed. It's that simple. He's trying to fix it, and he's doing it for free. He's not getting paid for this. And Trump said in a statement this week, if we ever see any of Elon's interests aligning with any of the stuff he's working on, we're going to separate it. Like, we understand the conflict of interest there.
Because they're not corrupt at all.
Oh my gosh.
No, Josh, listen to what you just said. You're holding Elon Musk up as though this person is an angel. He can do no wrong. And I think we all actually just agreed, correct me if I'm wrong, that there were good programs. Now, if he wants to improve the efficiency, amazing. We're all on board. If he wants
to, do you think he's doing it for the money, Ryan?
No. Yeah. I didn't say that. I did not say that.
What are you saying?
Well, what do you think his motivations are?
No. Can you guys just bear with me for a second, right? I'm saying, why do we have to cut the whole thing? There were good programs. If he wants to improve the efficiency, 2 thumbs up from me. I have no qualms with that.
Okay.
If he wants to cut out the things that people interpret as like woke leftist liberalism, fine, right? But if we're actually looking at what the money is going towards, 27% of it is economic development, 21.7% is humanitarian assistance, 22.3% is health, 14.2% is peace and security. That's the vast majority of the money. And you guys are singling out a Sesame Street program in Iraq and trans comic books in Colombia, and you're like, kill the whole thing, burn it down, right?
So
really?
The president of Ukraine just said, we've been shipped like $180 billion of aid, but I've only seen like 80 billion of it. I don't know where the other 80 billion went. Maybe you guys should send me some more money so I can figure that out, right? There's a problem here. Where is all this money going? We don't know. Okay. And what Tom just told you,
I'm on board with that.
Okay. We've agreed on this program. You've agreed that Elon Musk's superpower is resource allocation. This dude's all about efficiency. He's all about making things efficient. So if you take the guy who's arguably the best human being on the planet at fixing these large structures and making them efficient, if you take that guy, and we all agree he's that guy, and he says, this organization is so corrupt, I can't fix it. We need to build a different one. I'm going to take him at his word that this thing is so riddled with problems. Of course, those are the numbers that this corrupt organization is putting out to the public. Look at all this money we're spending on goodwill. Of course, that's the numbers just bear with me for a moment here. Just step back from your own personal and political views and just assume maybe this corporation, or whatever it is, the organization is super corrupt. What numbers are they going to be putting out there for us to see? So we're spending 21% of our budget, $40 billion, whatever it was, on whatever that first thing was.
Humanitarian assistance. So 21.7% on disaster relief and other humanitarian aid.
But we're actually pocketing 60 billion, like a footnote that says we're actually pocketing 60% of that. That appears to be what's happening. So of course they're not going to report that's where the money's going. There's so much corruption in there. Elon said he can't fix it. And he's the best guy on the planet at fixing this crap. I'm going to take him at his word. Sorry, I'm not holding up as some angel, some paradigm of virtue. I think he really is trying to help. No, I'm not. I'm holding him.
You just said you're holding him at his word.
I can't trust the guy who has no history of lying to us.
Oh, no history of lying to us.
What would be your suggestion as a better way to deal with? Is a better person that could do this, and a better way to do this?
Okay, so I'm not going to say better person, right? I'm not, because I don't know that I know a better person, right? Josh Cragen, there you go. There's my better person.
I would not be better than Elon. No, I don't have experience with this.
Josh, just bear with me. I can answer the better way, right? So here's the better way. If I were put in charge of looking at USAID and trying to align it with, let's say, independent political interests, right? Things that everybody in the United States can agree on. And the goal is to dramatically improve the efficiency. And don't get me wrong, I am very much about efficient charitable organizations. So before I make donations to a charity, any charity, I check them on Charity Navigator to make sure that 90+% of the money that I give to them goes to the actual initiative and not overhead. I don't want to pay some big fat cat CEO's salary because they're sitting on that and they're not giving the money to the people that I want, right? So I pay attention to those things. If USAID is so inefficient that more than 60% of the money that they're getting is actually just going to overhead, that's an efficiency problem. Right. I'm all on board with that. I've agreed with you. We should fix that. And if you want to cut out the Sesame Street program in Iraq, and if you want to cut out the trans magazines in Colombia, fine, right? But do we really want to cut out the food that we're giving to kids in Africa? Do we really want to cut out the money that we're giving towards HIV/AIDS medication for people around the world so they don't die?
You keep intimating that Trump and Elon do. Trump said, I don't want to kill it. He's on record as saying, Elon, can we save it? Elon, I mean, if there is as much corruption as it looks like there is there, maybe Elon doesn't know where the money's going. And you have an organization of individuals and you don't know who you can trust because you don't know who's siphoning off money where. How do you fix this organization when you're the outsider coming in and all you can see is what they're reporting is not accurate? The money's disappearing. How do you fix it? Like, what do you do? I don't know what I would do. You just fire everybody? That's kind of what they're doing.
Doesn't seem like the best approach, right? Like,
okay, how do you fix it? How do you fix an organization?
You do it. How about we take 6 months? 6 months, right? Like, okay. What are the consequences for the planet? For the planet, if we just slowly over 6 months go, no, we're going to cut that program, right? So there goes $8 million that we just saved, $8 million. And over the course of 30 days, I bet Elon Musk could cut a lot of things and maybe cut out $1 billion over 30 days and reduce the workforce by 1,000. And then in the next month, he does another and another. Why does it all have to happen in 3 days?
It'll probably be in less than a month, but in less than your 6 months time frame. I'll make a bet. Whatever, I'll buy you a steak dinner next time you're out. Whatever. that Trump and Elon are going to come up with a different program to cover the programs, the starving kids in Africa. They'll come up with a better program, a better organization, because they're going to just kill this thing. I bet you that's what's going to happen.
They're not going to be allowed to kill it.
Well,
federal judges already stopped it.
That's the thing, Ryan, is that I read a little bit about this. Someone was talking about this. So yeah, they like this is stuff that Congress has budgeted, right? And they're in bills, and so like you can't just stop someone from them sending this money, which is why they suspended it, right? So they suspended it for 90 days. And so they're like, we're just evaluating it. And the idea is we already know a million lawsuits are going to try to stop them from doing all this stuff, which arguably like that, whatever, right? Trying to slow this down, even like they're trying to stop Trump from allowing people to voluntarily quit. Like, it's so hard to get fired from the government. You can't even quit if you want to.
And
people at the
I'm going to laugh at that because that's actually pretty funny.
People armed at the doors. No, get back in the office. Please let me go.
We're not quite there, but it is pretty funny that they're suing to not let people quit. So, yes.
I heard that, like, yeah, Musk knows there's probably going to be an injunction happening, and he's just trying to get as much done as possible, uncover as much as he can within the short time he has before an injunction is put on him, which makes sense to me. Because he knows
they'll figure out better ways to hide all this corruption when they see that this steamroller of destruction's coming for their department, right? He's only just barely started. He's been at this for a couple of weeks, and already we're seeing heads roll. We're seeing crazy stuff being brought into the light. So if they slow their roll, people are going to be starting to learn to hide this better. That's what these rats do.
Yeah, sorry, I kept interrupting you. The other thing that I think is worth mentioning is, so like there's just like one of the things that I've heard from several different from different statements was that the Treasury Department, the Treasury Department's payment system is on auto approve, meaning known fraudulent organization, terrorist groups, we just fund them. And it's like the craziest thing you would ever see at a tech company, like most insane, inefficient like system, and we're doing it with the largest like basically payment system in the world, is just auto pay. Yeah, go ahead, take that money. And I guess that's probably what you were talking about, Ryan, when you're alluding that like we sent money and we like shouldn't have or something. But like, so I've heard several times that Elon is advocating for a blockchain system within the internal government's payment
that's
organizations.
Interesting.
Which makes 100% sense. Then we can track exactly where all the money's going, and like so that the Pentagon stops failing audits, right? Because they're like, where'd that billion go? I don't know. Well, send us some more, and that we can actually know what and which is basically creates accountability for within the department. I would, Ryan, would you be? I mean, like that idea. Are you in favor of that idea? I would think you would be.
I mean, detailed accounting,
right?
Sure.
Transparency.
I don't have any problems with detailed accounting and transparency. I'm sorry, I'm just looking up this idea of the federal budget is on auto approve. Very quickly, what it says is a significant portion of government spending, particularly categorized as mandatory spending, is automatically allocated each year without requiring a separate annual vote from Congress. That includes Social Security and Medicare. So it's not like automatically we're sending money to terrorist organizations. I don't think that's what that means. That's not what that means.
They're saying we've had instances where we have sent money to these organizations.
Elon just found out we've been funding Hamas.
No, we've been sending money to Gaza. I looked that up while we were talking. We're sending money to Gaza to help with relief efforts.
And where does that money go? Who owns Gaza? Hamas.
Josh.
This is not hard arithmetic.
Come on. Like, how fair of a reading is that? Do you really think the federal government's like, we fucking want to support Hamas? They're sending money. If Hamas steals that money in the process or steals that aid, do we just cut it off? Okay.
Literally every person knows that's exactly what they're doing. And you have a whole bunch of liberal politicians like Ilhan Omar, who that's their whole thing is from the river to the sea. Let's wipe out the Jews. Go Hamas. Like this is not a secret. This is not a secret. That is bizarre. That's a bizarre argument.
Know the world you live in. Like this episode is
news.
Really revealing the different worlds that we live in. Like completely different.
And we found out why. Because this corrupt government apparatus is funding the legacy media where you get your news. It's all coming together. It's incontrovertible. It's obvious.
Incontrovertible. I think it's pretty controvertible, actually.
We just found very clear evidence that USAID is funding legacy media. Yes or no?
Okay, even that one. Yeah, like you threw it out, right? That, the government is giving millions of dollars a year to Politico. No, there are subscriptions to newspapers.
Right.
It's not that they're directly transferring funds over to Politico. It's like, hey, we want to pay everybody at Politico your salaries. They're buying subscriptions to newspapers. Okay.
Ryan, click on the link I sent you.
Oh boy. What do we have now?
Well, what it is it's a terrorist organization, and some guys with a bunch of like some Saudi Arabian thing, and they're in some garage, and in the background is USAID like insulation or something like that. It's awesome.
Yeah. Again, I'm not surprised by this, but the way that you guys are making it out is like there are leftist, radical, woke civil servants at USAID who are like, let's fund terrorists.
That's exactly what's happening.
Brilliant. That's what we should do, is find the people who are killing US soldiers and send them money. Ryan, you guys are insane. Do you not realize how insane that sounds right now?
Do you know who Ilhan Omar is?
I know who she is. Yes, I know who she is.
She is pro-Palestinian. She's pro-Hamas.
Yeah.
She's a congresswoman. You're telling me there's not civil servants that are that extreme working in USAID?
Come on.
Clearly there are. What world are you living in? We have the evidence. We know it's happening.
No.
Okay.
You are literally making this out. Okay, so I can see it now. Thank you, Tom, for sending this, right? So you do have some people who look to be some sort of militant, I don't know, probably terrorist groups.
It's not even a meme. I thought it was like a cartoon.
No,
it's
no,
real.
No, it's fine.
It's real.
Yeah. Okay. But again, do you really think USAID sent that to them?
Oh my gosh.
Or
with the intention that they were going to use it in this way.
Right. No, I'm sure they sent it to some people who are starving, so awesome. And these people took it, right?
Well, but that's kind of what Josh is saying. When you send it to the government of Gaza, which is Hamas, that they're going to use it.
They take everything.
They shouldn't.
Everybody knows this.
And again, like that's fine. So these are the things that I think Elon Musk should be focused on. But Josh seems like hell-bent on saying, axe the whole thing. Kill it. It's so corrupt, we can't save anything.
That was not my conclusion. That was the guy who's better at anybody in the world at efficiency. That was his conclusion. I'm going to back him up on that. Why? Like you're kind of like,
I don't know, giving a reasonable position.
No, you're intimating.
Let's slowly kind of.
You're intimating that Donald Trump and Elon Musk want to kill babies. That's what you're intimating.
No.
That's exactly what.
Did I ever say that? No, I never said that. Never once did I say they want to kill. Okay, what I said is there's a better way to do this so babies don't die.
So why would they be doing
it
the way they're doing it?
There is, Ryan.
Why would they be doing it this way? Because would you agree that that they don't want babies to die? Would you at least go that far, even though you hate them so much for some weird reason?
It's a tricky question.
Oh, it is not a tricky question.
No.
You are ridiculous.
No.
Ridiculous.
Josh, calm down. Here's why I say it's a tricky question. Do I think they want babies to die? No, I don't think they do. Do I think they care if some babies die as a result of what they're doing? There's nuance there. And the answer to the second one is no, I don't think they care if some babies die as a result of what they're doing. Do they want them to die? No. Do they care if they die? No. That's why I said there's nuance here. And I think you actually have to agree with me.
No. That's
I
a
don't think they
horrific thing
care.
to say.
I don't think they care if babies die.
That's a horrific thing to say about a human being with no evidence.
You don't think that there are human beings on this planet who actually feel that way?
Yes. Do I think Trump and Elon are those human beings?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. For sure.
You have no evidence of that. You're intimating that they don't care that babies die.
Other than they just wiped out USAID's budget.
So that's why they're axing this thing, is because they don't care about babies. Why else would they be doing it the way they're doing it?
You tell me.
Your intimation is that they want the babies to die.
No.
It's like some political statement.
I'm not intimating anything. You keep saying, you're putting words in my mouth. I'm saying there's a better way to do it. And I gave it to you. And you're like, nope, got to burn the whole thing down. Okay, I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree. But I literally said, like, let's slow this down. Let's look at the graft and improve the efficiency.
I'm not even going to agree to disagree. I'm just going to disagree.
So, Ryan, there was a video. AOC did a little cast, and she was saying she was saying some interesting things, but she said Elon Musk was the most unintelligent billionaire she ever knew, and I was like, that's a weird statement.
Okay, bartender.
But the point she said was that we don't need DOGE. There's already, it's the government of governmental waste. It's the Agency for Governmental Waste that identifies waste in the government. And you're like, okay, great. So she's like, so we don't need DOGE. And you're like, well, what are they doing, right? Like, what have they done? Clearly nothing, because we're spending way beyond our means, and we're incredibly inefficient.
I'm agreeing with all of that. I'm just not agreeing with the immediate solution, which is burn it all down.
I kind of agree that we should burn it all down. Like,
I definitely agree.
I almost agree with what Josh is saying. We could probably have it fixed. What you were saying takes 6 months. We can probably have it fixed and running better in 6 months than we can trying to go in through the front door, make an appointment, meet with some people, a bunch of bureaucrats, and talk with them. There's a great
figure out who's corrupt and not corrupt in the organization, and track down all this errant money. Like, just go, we're going to take the funds, because we have the funds the government's allocating. We'll put them in a new organization that we know is going to run efficiently. And then we'll get the aid out there, instead of trying to fix this broken system.
Yeah.
Just like Elon's really good at this. That's why it's so funny that, I mean, you're good at your job. I know you're good at your job, Ryan. When have you ever managed a company?
I've managed a budget of a few $100,000, but never a full company.
Okay, you've never managed a company. You've never managed a giant government apparatus. Elon is really dang good at this.
No, Elon's really good at running a private for-profit company. He's never run the government.
Which is even better, because for-profit companies have to turn a profit. They can't spend more than they make. The government is clearly just doing whatever the crap it wants.
Well, you're right, Ryan. No, he hasn't. But clearly nobody has run a government agency well, because they've never been run well. No one can point me to an agency that's run really well.
Let me channel my inner Josh. Malay is doing it in Argentina.
I told you we should bring him in.
But what is he doing, Ryan?
He's cutting like crazy.
He's cutting everything.
I'm sorry, I had to say it. I got to point to one person, right?
I agree. Malay's
Tom was
awesome.
like, no one has ever done it. I'm like, Josh says there's one.
Okay,
right?
Tom was probably saying no one's done it in the American government in recent history. Not in my lifetime.
What I'm saying is, you're only making Josh's point when you bring up Malay.
Not necessarily. Just because at the end of the day, government is not the same as private organizations. They don't have the same functions. They don't do the same things.
Never said it was.
Well, but you just said, like, he's the most efficient person, blah, blah, blah. He's an angel. He's a god. He's a deity. He can do everything.
Wow,
he shits little brownies that taste delicious.
Get so mad if I intimate anything, and then you throw that in my mouth like I said any of that, which I did not. Wow.
I trust this guy implicitly. He's the most efficient person ever. I listened to it. It sounds like idol worship is what it sounds like. Yeah,
all right,
never
Ryan.
said that.
Go back. I am
USAID gifted a cement factory to Hamas, 310 million in help, which you can probably help create Gaza tunnels, right? Terror tunnels. And like more
Like
than
they
likely,
explicitly said, "You're Hamas. We're giving you a cement factory."
well, they gave it to the government of Gaza, right?
which is a terrorist organization. Like, this is not hard, right? It's just not hard. We're funding terrorism, and you're like, let's slow our roll here.
As
Are
if
we?
we haven't been
Are
doing this for decades, Josh.
and
And
it's a
I'm not
problem
saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay. I don't think we should be giving anything to Hamas, right? But we literally have funded terrorist organizations for
We have.
decades.
And now we have
Decades.
people in there putting a stop to it. How are you not jumping up and down with excitement?
Okay. Look, I started the podcast by saying I actually have mixed opinions about this because I want to improve efficiency. I want to reduce spending. And I'm trying to find middle ground. And Josh is standing all the way over on one extreme,
Yeah,
jumping up and down, and is like, let it burn. So
because it's
one of us
awesome.
is reaching across the aisle, and the other is basically slapping my hand away and saying, either jump on my side or you're a moron. And it's like,
Yeah,
Ryan,
you know what? I tried. I'm trying to be nice about
you are.
you
this. Come on.
you also said that they're okay killing babies. So,
Well,
Okay. So when a bunch of babies die and we can come back after the 90 days when the pause is, done, let's
okay,
say
let's
that they
see.
finish
Let's
the
see.
pause. If there are a bunch of dead babies in Africa, are you going to eat crow on this?
Yes, absolutely.
Then are you going to
I
say,
already
"Oh, that was
said
a
I
bad
would.
idea. That was a bad idea. Maybe we shouldn't have done it like that."
Yeah, I already said I would
I,
do that.
right. Well, Ryan, okay. So can we agree that if I was a corrupt group, like an agency, right, and was pretty well rotten out, that I would like inefficiency, or that I would gravitate toward an inefficient system because it would be easier. Obviously, it'd be easier to hide my corruption, and I would resist transparency and efficiency, and that I would resist those because that's going to make it much harder to do what I want to do.
I think, yeah, in general, I think
Generally, right?
I think
Yeah.
that's fair to say in general. I mean,
Yes,
obviously it's going to vary by specific things, but sure. Yeah.
I would agree with you. Yeah, I would think so too. Th- That's because I agree with Josh. I think for efficiency, like I can't think of a more qualified person than Elon Musk to like
Mhm.
make things more efficient. And he's gonna do it in a painful way. That's the way. Like with Twitter, he came in, he axed 80% of the team within a month. Right, they were gone, and like that's painful, right? But like that's how he did it. And I think I can't think of a better person to do it. And like I can't.
Well,
I just think this is probably no one's gonna like it, but when people cry, it makes me think of like a girlfriend's looking at her boyfriend's phone and finding some text from other women on there, and then the boyfriend's yelling at the girlfriend for like, you stay away from my
that's
stuff.
exactly what it
You're the
is.
bad person. They're
It's
like,
weird
am I the bad
gaslighting.
person? Because
Yeah,
it's like I don't know if it's me. Like I feel like
I've
you're the one who should be apologizing,
I've
right?
I've
And
heard I heard the comparison just today is the liberals are mad because the cops have caught the robbers and they're mad at the cops. Like, that's kind of what's
right,
happening.
same scenario.
Yeah. And to Ryan's credit, he brought up Malay, okay? I'm trying to give Ryan credit here. It's working. His austerity measures are working in Argentina. Things are getting better. Was it difficult and pretty well heinous at the beginning? It was terrible. A lot of people lost their jobs and he cut a lot of stuff and it was really hard for everybody in Argentina, but it's working. Okay, that's why I'm okay with Elon doing the same thing here. He's taking the chainsaw to all this corruption, and Chuck Schumer had the funniest freaking quote. He's talking to the reporter, and he's like, "Trump's going to cut USAID. What a terrible person. What's he going to do next? Cut the IRS?" And I'm sitting here going, "Yes, please." And then he goes, "What about after that? The Postal Service?" Yes, like, Chuck, are you on our side now? And then what about after that? Department of Homeland Security? He starts going through all these organizations, or the Department of Education, and I'm sitting here going, we could cut all of those. That would be amazing. Like, that's the disconnect between the left and the right. I'm sitting here going, let's get rid of all of these dumb government appendages that don't do anything. What is the post office doing that UPS and FedEx can't do? They can all be
Uh,
privatized. It can all be
delivering
privatized.
letters at a reasonable price.
It can all be privatized. We're subsidizing all of that. So you can say it's a reasonable price, but we're subsidizing the whole thing to the tune of billions of dollars, right? So when Chuck Schumer's saying that, it's just so clear that there's such a crazy disconnect between the left and the right, and I don't even know where the libertarian would come in here, because that's really a libertarian thing of let's axe all of it, because it's all corrupt and we don't really need it. And the private sector can do all of this stuff better.
What part do we need then? Just a military?
Mostly.
It's going to
So
collect
again,
the taxes.
the government.
We just don't care. We don't care about tax collection. We don't care about.
Do we need the monstrous apparatus that is the IRS to collect taxes? If we simplify the tax code and go back to Ben Carson's thing of 10-10-10 or whatever, right? There are ways, right?
Terrible idea.
Okay, so you're critical of it. You don't have a better idea. Your idea is to keep this huge corrupt government apparatus.
I have a very easy idea.
What is it?
It's a very easy idea. A graduated income tax that runs across all of them and
simplified. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So simplified.
And there are no exceptions. Just no exceptions.
Cool. Then we can cut the IRS into a quarter of the size.
No,
because we don't need them to audit everything.
Here's the problem. Because we do need them to audit certain people, right?
Okay,
who they're auditing right now is the problem. They're auditing poor people. They should be auditing the rich people.
Yeah. Okay. So we largely agree.
Really highly skilled people to audit rich people, because rich people hire really skilled people to hide their money. Yeah. So by cutting the IRS, every time we cut the IRS, we reduce government revenue. That's actually what happens. And it's because people find ways to get around paying their taxes. So
see, that's a disconnect there. I think we should reduce the government revenue. The government shouldn't be spending as much as it is, and it doesn't need as much as it has.
Okay,
we're on the same page here.
I agree with that.
You're just disagreeing me out of principle. We're on the same page.
Reduce
the size of the IRS.
There are things that the government actually needs to do.
I don't agree.
I think there's always this idea that you're like, oh, because I've seen this argument so many times. You're like, oh, well, you want to reduce the budget? Well, okay, here's the list of all the things the government does. Which one do you want to cut? Oh, we need defense, right? Well, you don't want to get rid of Social Security, right? And you're like, oh, so they're like, see, it's not that easy. And you're like, okay, but I think we could, I'm not like, yeah, we don't want to get rid of these, but we could do them at a fraction of the cost and much less waste. We could 100% absolutely. We're like, there is incredible waste and inefficiency in government that it needs to be scrutinized and audited better. And we haven't been doing that. I mean, like I'm saying, the Pentagon can't even figure out where they spent money. They can't even account for it, right? It's
and nobody's held responsible. Nobody got fired for Ryan talked about that $500 billion that just got misplaced in accounting, right? Did anybody get fired for that?
Probably not.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, they've done it 5 years in a row, so clearly no one's getting in trouble.
And I love the military. Is there too much spending in the military?
Probably. But
let me give you a story I got first person. This guy was a mechanic at Hill Air Force Base. They are divvied out their own tools, right? They have their own toolbox, and all of their tools have like a microchip or something in them to identify whose tool it is. He left a tool inside an airplane, and it got shipped to like Iraq or somewhere. It's just a wrench, like a $10 wrench. Guess how much money the military spent getting that wrench back to him?
Oh, please. I want to say
probably a lot.
Tens of thousands.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. They spent tens of thousands of dollars to get his wrench back instead of going to Home Depot and buying a new wrench. This is the kind of stuff the military does. Okay. I love our military. I love our soldiers. It is so wildly inefficient. It's insane. And I've heard story after story from people that work at Hill about this kind of stuff.
Yes. And
I'm not disagreeing.
Stories like Boeing charging $80,000 for a soap dispenser in their military, they're the bombers that they make for the military, right? Just egregious amounts.
What a soap dispenser.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, it does lots of other things.
So, yeah, absolutely.
I think we all agree on those things, though, right? Like, I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I'd love to see all of those inefficiencies cut.
But you're so mad at Elon for cutting them.
Well,
no.
You're saying
remember how I started this? Yes,
that is not going to hurt preserved The continuity
Okay.
of the good programs.
Yes, that's all I've said
Yeah.
from the very beginning. I started by saying I've got mixed feelings because I
Okay.
want to see government
Then
spending reduced. I want to get rid of the inefficiencies. I'm on board with all of that. We're broke. We're
okay,
less than broke,
we're on the same
right?
page there.
Yeah.
We're
We're on the
all
same
on the
page
same
there.
page.
Okay.
How he's doing it is going to hurt people.
All right.
And
So this is
that
where
I
we
have an
disagree.
issue with.
So let's try to get into the nuance here. Theoretically, do you agree there could exist a government entity that is too corrupt to be saved? This is almost like
Sure.
an allegory of the Jesus'
Theoretically,
vineyard,
anything
right?
could happen. Sure. So theoretically, it's
yeah.
possible. Sure.
Okay.
Theoretically.
So if USAID is just it's too corrupt to reasonably be saved, maybe this is the right thing. And I don't know that. You don't know that. Elon's the one with access right now, looking at all of the accounting, right? That's the conclusion he came to, and he's good at this. And I don't ascribe him up to ulterior motives. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is like a political thing, and they're just like, let's just go after it because this is fun. But I just don't see that as being plausible. Like the most obvious explanation is usually the correct explanation. I think this guy who's really good at this kind of stuff just doesn't see a way to save it. I agree with you, though. I agree. We should save these beneficial programs that are legitimately helping underprivileged people. The ones that give goodwill across the world and that represent all of our citizens. But the ones that don't, the ones that are partisan, they have to be axed, and they're everywhere. I think it's going to get way worse before it gets better, dude.
Okay.
Prepare yourself for that.
So the fascinating part about like once you calmed down and just reiterated everything that I just said, we totally agree. Like I said that in minute 2 of the podcast.
Kind of.
But pretty sure that's what I said.
No, not really. You just came out blasting Elon for getting rid of USAID.
I don't think I did. I think I started by saying I have mixed views on this. I was pretty calm about it.
So I wanted to talk about a little aspect that you brought up earlier, Ryan, because this is really interesting to me. So I read an article that said basically Trump wants to crash the economy, and
that's so silly.
What's that?
I mean, where like, is this a left-leaning article? Is this a right-leaning article?
I don't even know.
I don't know.
I think he's 100%. I thought he was dead on in that he wants. I think he was hoping it would crash before he got into office.
Probably. I think that's probably true.
And I think he wants to crash it just as soon as possible. And he even said, like, he's been quoted saying there's going to be some pain. We're going to have some pain.
Yeah, I've heard him say that.
And
that I have heard.
Yeah. And I think he actually wants the unemployment rate to go up. He wants to see a spike in it because one, the sooner he does it, he can blame it on Biden. And second, then rates will come down and they'll lower rates, and that will stimulate the economy, right? That's what he wants. And he's
interesting take.
I think he has no problem like flooding the streets with unemployed government workers so that he can get that unemployment rate to spike up.
Do you really think he's that sophisticated in his thinking?
I kind of don't.
Oh, I think
people
totally
around him might be. He's got some smart people who may have figured something like that out, but I would be kind of surprised.
He was harping at the Fed for not cutting. So the Fed did not cut this last meeting, right? They cut the last 3, and then they didn't cut this last one, and he was saying they should have.
Inflation's iffy right now, and things are going a little weird. So they're being cautious, which is what the Fed should do. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
So the only thing that would sway the Fed is if the unemployment rate spikes, which the Fed has basically said that. And so
you think he's trying to spike the unemployment rate?
So
interesting.
100%. Honestly, I've thought about this for a while. He can kill 2 birds with one stone in that he can keep inflation down, and by shredding the government, that's the second part of it, is that he can get back at his like political opponents, that he can shred the FBI, he can shred this, he can shred these organizations, increase unemployment, which will cause the rates to go down, which will make the economy boom, and they'll
I'm agreeing with Ryan here. I don't think he's sophisticated enough to put all that together.
I think he likes chaos.
I don't
there
even think
might
it's
be
that,
people around him who have figured that out, but I don't
I
think
don't even
Trump's
think it's that
sophisticated enough to
like
do
of
it.
a clever of a thing. I think he knows he just needs to cause some pain. And anyway,
well, I guess we'll see. That's an interesting take. I just love that he's slashing the government. I love it.
Well, do you really think, and this is an honest question, do you really think Trump gives a shit about slashing the government, or is that Elon who actually cares about that?
no, because based on his first term, he didn't do anything, right?
He didn't do anything to slash the government. He increased the government debt, right? Like, he didn't care. I don't think he cares at all.
COVID, right? But I do think I think like this is what I'm saying. I'm like, I think it's more of like I can take it to you guys. Oh yeah, but I think it's
so this is just vendetta stuff that he doesn't give a crap about. Yeah,
I don't.
That's probably true.
I think the first time he was so unprepared because he did not think he was winning. I think he had I don't think he had a plan. I think he woke up one day in the Oval Office and went, oh, well, now what do I do? I think that's what happened. Because I've heard him talk about how he had plans to fix some of the deficit and stuff, but then COVID put a wrench in everything, and then he had to figure out how to deal with that.
COVID was at the very end of his presidency.
It was the last year.
So he had 3 years to fix debt issues.
I think he was so unprepared that he didn't go into it with any kind of plan. And then he got kicked in the teeth, and then he had 4 years to go, well, you know what? Maybe I could do something. You're ascribing to him that he's, and I used to believe it. I used to believe that he was just a self-centered narcissist that was psychopathic and so self-centered, and he just liked his own name. I really don't think he's a bad dude. Like, look at his kids. They seem like nice people. They seem fairly well adjusted. You can say what you want about them.
I almost swallowed my tongue. Holy crap.
Whatever.
Don Jr.'s a lunatic coke addict.
Okay, whatever.
I mean, it's like not even debated. He's a cocaine addict. He's insane.
I love how you go after him, but not Hunter
Trump?
Biden.
No, Donald Trump Jr.
Oh, Jr. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably true. Trump's like, he doesn't drink alcohol. He doesn't do drugs, right? Like, I'll fully admit that. Like, that's totally true, right? But
he's more of a sociopath.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is a vendetta thing. If he's that petty, but it just doesn't track for me. That doesn't.
Josh, there's no way that you can say he's not petty. He's literally pulling the security details of everybody who has ever dissed him, ever, including Joe Biden. He just pulled the security detail of Joe Biden, the former president.
I don't think he can do that.
He just did
do that.
I don't know.
It just was a breaking news headline.
That would be a really big deal.
Today.
So Joe Biden has nobody watching over him.
He's trying to do it.
That doesn't.
But he's been pulling it from all sorts of people.
I'm gonna go over to Joe Biden's house tonight and knock on the door.
Hey, Joe, just punch him right in the mouth if there's nobody there.
Pop,
I heard that he pulled.
He'll die from a heart attack if you knock on his door anyway.
I heard he pulled Fauci's. I haven't heard any of the rest of that.
He's been pulling tons of them.
Yeah,
okay,
I did
to say that he's not petty. That is all pettiness.
He didn't.
Yes, he is petty.
He is super petty.
He didn't lock up Hillary the first term, and he certainly had the backing of the people to do it. So he has a track record of saying crazy things. We've established this, but he generally doesn't. Everything he's doing, I love. So you can call it crazy, but I love what he's doing. He is slashing the government left and right.
He wants the U.S. to take over Gaza. And get rid of.
I love it.
I love it. Mass genocide.
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about it.
No, I want to talk about.
Go ahead, Tom.
I want to talk about. I want to get your take on this, Ryan, because this is it's bugging the crap out of me, and that is so. I was at this family thing, and I won't say what it was, but one of these people was like, "Yeah, my spouse is really nervous because." We don't know because they work for the federal government and they don't know if they're gonna have a job or not. And I'm just like, okay. And I'm like, so you're gonna join every other American who has to worry about if you're gonna get a job or not? like you might get fired, right? You're like might get laid off. Like that's like everyone has to do. And so I'm watching this special on MSNBC. Or sorry, not a special. It's just one of the news takes. And the host is reading a letter from an FBI agent. And it is like the most heartfelt letter. And it's like, I'm your coach. I'm your son's soccer coach. I'm your neighbor next door. I'm the guy who does this. I once went on a special operation and took a bullet once, da da da. And here I am watching my kids play, and they have no idea that their father could get fired at some point. Da da da. And I'm like, I'm sorry, are you gonna die if you lose your job? Do they shoot you if you leave the FBI? I'm like, because I'm like, this is just a job, right? That we're talking about. I'm like, what the crap? I've never heard anyone
It's
so
the government.
right, so
You
passionate.
can't get fired.
Totally, right? It's like it was as if they were being sent to a firing squad, like they were talking as if they're about to die. And I'm like,
That's how
what do you
entitled they are. And we're
Yeah, and
telling
I'm
we're
like,
telling this to the tenured professor.
I
who
was going to
also
say,
can't-
exactly.
do you
he
guys
can't get
realize who
fired.
you're talking to?
Yes.
Because
totally.
there's a way that I can get fired if I don't do my job or moral turpitude. Those are the
Or
two reasons I can get fired.
or if he sides with the conservative side on a podcast.
That explains
that
it.
would not do it either.
That explains it.
No, so yeah, I mean, at
That is
some
so
level,
funny.
yeah, like what you're saying is pretty funny. I get it, but do you really think, and this is an honest question, that it's either good for people or just good for society in general for everybody to be constantly worried about losing their job like every single day? Is that good for your mental health? Is that
No,
good for your physical?
probably not.
Okay. So I think that's kind of where I would come at this from, is like, yeah, should people who are incompetent or not doing their job lose their job?
And should they
100%.
worry?
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. If you're incompetent or not doing your job,
Yes.
you should not have a job. And are
Yes.
there tenured faculty who that should apply to them too? And are there union workers that should apply to them too? 100%, right? But if I'm a competent person doing my job and I'm not engaged in moral turpitude, I'm not doing any of these problematic things, should I really be on a daily basis like, I could lose my job because some finicky dude up at the top is just like throwing wrenches into the works because he likes chaos, right? Like, I don't know that I agree with that. That seems problematic to me, right?
Well,
and I think
sure,
we're probably on the same page here.
I would agree if that was an ongoing thing for years and years, but like the first time in decades that there's a chance you could get let go and you're having a meltdown is sort of strange to me. I mean, like all these people, we've had government shutdowns, several, I mean, 3, 4 government shutdowns, and everyone got back pay. And like, no one was
For
even
doing nothing.
The idea of them even getting canned was not even, basically everyone got free vacations.
What was the statistic DOGE just put out that like 3% of government employees are working at the office? The rest of them just work at home and there's no like accountability.
3%. There's no way it could be
It
that
was
low.
something crazy high.
It's pretty, yeah.
It
I
was
don't know what
really,
the-
really high. Like shockingly high. So
Okay.
I used to play games with this guy. He was a friend of mine, and we'd talk, and he'd come in almost every night, like freaking A, I hate my coworkers so bad. He was a government employee, and he ended up doing the job of like 4 people every day because he had this one specific coworker. He would come every day and tell me stories about this guy. This dude came into work drunk every day, went into his office and just fell down and slept. That's all he did. And they couldn't
That
get
person
him
should
fired.
be fired, Josh. Like, find
He
me the
couldn't get
person
him
who
fired.
thinks he should keep his job.
Why is it so hard to hire? We made jokes about it at the beginning that they're making lawsuits where they can't even leave. These people can't even quit their jobs.
Okay, but
There's your people right there.
No. Let's just flip this around, though. Has Trump been firing people who were involved in the investigations of him?
They probably should have.
Why? They were literally just doing their jobs. They were competently doing their jobs. Their supervisors said, here's a criminal investigation. You need to investigate this. They did their jobs. There's no evidence that it was biased. There was no evidence that they were doing something untoward. They were literally told by their supervisors, this is a case that you're supposed to work on. And Trump fired them for that. Is that okay?
I'm going to say yes. Like,
FBI agents getting fired
yeah,
because they were told to do their job. And
when
they
you
did it.
serve at the prerogative of the executive branch and you're working to stopping the next guy that might be the president, well, if he doesn't want you working there because we've allocated the president that much power, If he
which
doesn't
we
work,
really haven't, but he's taking it. So
no. Don't even start on that, because who has started? Who has been allocating the executive branch all this power for the last 100 years? Yes, some Republicans, but mostly Democrats. They're the ones that want to get rid of the filibuster, do all this stuff to give more power to the president. And now the left is really mad that Trump's using that power that they were okay with liberal presidents using. I agree. He shouldn't have that much power,
we already
but he
discussed this. Why are we
does.
rehashing this? We already agreed he shouldn't have that much power.
Okay. They serve at the will of the president. If he doesn't like what they did to him, then I guess they're going to get fired, and they should probably understand that if that's where they're going to work. I just have, like, to Tom's point, I have no remorse for these people. They're throwing up these there's crocodile tears, like this is the worst thing ever, that they could get fired. Welcome to the real world, buddy. We all get fired. Like, life's tough. Grow a pair.
All right, I want to hear.
Yeah,
what...
we should redo the university system.
No, we should not.
Tenure is ridiculous.
No, it's not. I should be allowed to research the things that I'm researching, even if people don't like it.
That I agree with.
That's what tenure's for, not to protect people who don't do their jobs. And that's how it gets abused. And I fully agree that should not be abused.
So
but I should be protected for study. Oh, okay. Sure.
Common ground. Tweak the system.
And you agree it does get abused?
Sure. I've known people in particular who have abused the system.
Right. And that's probably true within the government as well, right?
Oh, for sure.
That they know how difficult it is for them to...
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be abused.
Ryan, what's your prediction of what's going to happen going forward?
With what in particular? With the
USAID,
government? With
Elon
USAID.
Musk tearing things up.
That's interesting. So what was the one I just... I mean, I have no idea. Like, that's the crazy part, right? Like, Department of Education maybe next, right? What was the one that I just heard about, which I don't understand that. Like, why would people cheer about that? They're the ones who manage all federal funding for students, right? So who's going to take care of that? What I would love to see, and I will admit this, and I've already said this multiple times, would I love to see a dramatic improvement in efficiency of the government. 100%. And if we cut the federal workforce by 3.5 million people, we cut it in half, and we kept basically the same services. So our spending goes down dramatically. We reduce the deficit. And all of this is done without a dramatic kind of detriment to the services that are necessary, that we all agree are necessary. I will cheer this. I genuinely will. I started today by saying this is why I have mixed views, because I'm worried about where we are financially. So if Elon Musk can pull that off, I will absolutely eat crow, and I will buy Josh the nicest steak dinner that he wants. I'll buy both of you a steak dinner, whatever it is you want, the next time I'm out there, if Elon Musk actually pulls that off, right? That said, if in 90 days there are a bunch of dead babies in Africa, you all are eating a lot of crow, and I don't even want the steak dinner. I'm going to make you guys make a donation to some charitable organization in Africa that's going to save babies.
The USAID?
No, not USAID, because apparently they're highly inefficient, and it's going to go to trans magazines in Colombia. So we'll find a charitable organization. Comic books.
Yes. Let's be accurate in our statements.
Josh, what's your prediction?
We're destroying each other. So that Colombian president tried to stand up to Trump when he said, you're taking back all of your... It lasted like 20 minutes. Trump was like, oh, really? And the dude backed right down. Trump's basically getting everything he wants. He has so much goodwill now because he's doing like some common sense things, like the NCAA or whatever. Trump just made it a law. No man playing women's sports. That simple. And the NCAA was like, thank you.
It's an executive order, but
whatever. Okay. So he put that out, and the NCAA immediately jumped on board, because before I was talking with a friend about this today. Like, I understand their position. They're trying to manage this sports organization, and they want it to be fair, but you have all of this pressure from the media and from the politicians and everybody saying, no, you got to let these men play against the women. And so they're like, well, we don't really want to. And it was like they're in a bad position, and they couldn't stand up one way or the other. And Trump said, no, this is the new rule. And they're like, thank you. Awesome. We're down. Like, people were so afraid before because the very vocal, powerful minority was shoving this crap down their throats. But it's very clear it's something like 80% of the country, 79% of the country didn't want men playing in women's sports. Like, it was that big of a bifurcation, but people were afraid to stand up because all of it was you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know how you're going to be canceled, but people were going to try to cancel you. And now Trump's standing up for this common sense stuff that most people want. He's got a lot of goodwill. I don't see anybody really standing in his way as he smashes the government, unless something catastrophic happens. I think he probably will get rid of, you said, maybe it'll just shrink it to about an eighth of its size, which I'm cool either way. If they can fix it, cool. If they have to destroy it, cool. Do I think he's just going to stand idly by and twiddle his thumbs as babies die? No, I don't think he's a bad person. And even if he is, he's smart enough not to want that headline. They'll come up with something else. Elon's really good at this. He's efficient. I don't deify him. I don't think he's the best person ever to walk the earth. That's big JC. Okay. I think he's really good at running organizations. He's really good at of resource management and appointing smart people. I think Trump's going to continue wrecking these huge government apparatuses, and I am so ecstatic. And we actually agree. I agree with Ryan here. We do need some of these government organizations, but basically all of them are bloated and corrupt. We don't know where a lot of this money's going. It's just disappearing. And if Trump and Elon can fix it, I've been wanting this my entire life. I've seen this writing on the wall my entire life. We haven't had a balanced budget since Calvin Coolidge 100 years ago. That's a problem. The federal government
we did
is
have a
problem.
budget surplus under Clinton.
We paid the debt down, but we didn't. We weren't balanced.
We weren't.
No, but we did. We did have a surplus under Clinton.
Okay, he's not corrupt at all. That guy, who's the Clinton Foundation.
We've already talked about this. Every single one. We've agreed that every politician is corrupt. We've already said it, so we don't need to focus on any of them.
Your liberal hive mind there, you had to jump in and try to defend Clinton.
No, you said we haven't had a balanced budget since Coolidge, and I said actually we had a budget surplus under Clinton. That's technically accurate.
Not the same thing. And it's so like I don't even want to go there. I wasn't going to go there. Like the Clinton Foundation, I think it was 2% of their charity went to actual charity, right? Everything else. It was like it was under 5%. It's a charitable organization, and you donate money to it, and 2% goes to charity, and the rest goes into their pockets, right? Exactly.
I already said I wouldn't donate to that.
But this is the kind of shell game. This is the corporate cutouts that all of these people in Washington are using. This is the graft and the corruption that Elon is getting rid of. It's a legitimate organization. It's a charitable organization. The Clintons just pocket all the money and then give 2% to some homeless guy on the corner, right? That's what Elon's doing, and I couldn't be more excited about it because these rats in Washington have figured out how to legitimately steal our money. It's not like technically illegal what some of them are doing. It's not technically illegal for them to pay this comic book artist in Colombia to write trans comics. It's just absurd. It's crazy. So I'm so excited. Like, I didn't vote for Trump. He's had to win me over. I'm 99.9% on board with what he's doing right now. I love it. I could not be more excited because somebody's finally doing something substantive about the government corruption. I am so happy, so excited. Full stop.
Tom, what's your prediction?
I think everything's going to go to crap.
Tom, you say that same thing every time. Prior to the election, you thought the economy was going to crash.
Yes.
And it didn't, right? And now you're saying everything's going to go to crap.
I said if it crashed, that Trump would make it. But Trump made it even though it didn't. So yeah. And
then the economy shot up. Stock market
that surprised me.
Didn't surprise me.
It's since dropped. So, I mean, we're about on par. So
what's on par?
I mean, we just had the DeepSeek massive collapse of NVIDIA where we lost the most value of a company in one day, $600 billion in one day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, an 18% drop in the valuation of NVIDIA because of DeepSeek. That was pretty shocking.
Their new GPUs. Guys suck. I'm disappointed.
Well, I mean, no, the market needs a correction. It needs a bigger correction. But
Yeah,
anyway, Tom, go ahead. Tell us why everything is going to go to crap.
Well, I think, well, sorry, this is interesting to me. I've been thinking about a lot about this. Someone put a post online, and it was very interesting. It got me thinking like I never thought before, which was they said all this stuff being uncovered make it in there. Basically, it's like basically we've had UBI for one party, and I'm like, what? And I read through a few comments like, what does that even mean? And what's interesting is like, so like, do you know what the most conservative state is?
Defined how in terms of voting Republican?
Voting Republicans. Yeah.
Utah.
Yep, exactly. Do you know what percentage we are? I don't even know off the
60 to
top of my head.
70%,
Yeah,
something like
it's like
that.
50,
Yeah.
60, 70%. Yeah, I knew it was around there. Do you know what the most Democratic state is?
New Hampshire, something?
No, it wouldn't be New Hampshire. It might be like Massachusetts. But it may not be Oregon,
It's the
Washington.
District of Columbia, baby.
Oh, could be
Oh,
District of Columbia.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but they're not a
absolutely.
state. Come on, that was a trick question.
Trick question.
Tom.
You're right. But they
Now
do
play, Tom.
They do have electorals. Um, and
yes.
so but do you know what their percentage is?
It's like 90 something, isn't it?
It's 90. So last election was 90%. The 2020 was 92%.
Wow.
They are crazy Democratic, right? And I'm always like, why is that, right? And I was like, well, I guess it's because centralized government, Democrats have always kind of leaned towards centralized government, and that's the central government, so they might be like more that way. I'm like, I guess. Do you know where the most millionaires are per capita?
Probably DC.
You mean per state or per district now? Because we're including districts.
We'll
Yes.
include a district. Yeah.
All right, then we'll say DC.
You're right. Most
Yay.
billionaires are in California. Most millionaires are in DC.
Gee, where are they getting all that money?
Where are they getting all that money? So what's interesting is like, so I like when they were, so that this person was talking about it, and I was like, got me thinking. I'm like, it's like, okay, what are the most democratic institutions, like industries, right? It would be academics,
Yeah. Education, probably. Yeah.
education, and media are like predominantly democratic. And like what we're seeing is this sort of like I mean, like I'm going out there a little bit, but everything we're seeing is like supporting this idea that there's just this back channel of money going back into these institutions that are
media and
like,
academia.
yeah, like
We're
Politico,
not millionaires.
BBC,
I'm sorry.
New York Times.
You're not, because you're honest. But look at all these other, like, how do you argue what Tom just said? That
No. You can say media maybe, but academia, like, find me the
teachers maybe not, but
professors.
No, the administrators.
What I'm saying
administrators make good money. I'm not going to fight that, but I mean, we're not talking about millions and millions of people, right? Right. And I know the salaries of academics, so let's not be ridiculous here. Like, we don't make killer money.
No, I'm not saying you make killer money. I'm saying that there seems to be like so what's interesting is like if Politico's getting all this money, of course they're going like from an extremely democratic government. There's a good chance they're going to write, and it's going to left leaning news organizations. It's like they'll probably going to support back and like
they're not going to bite the hand that feeds. Why would they do that?
It's this sort of like reinforcing channel, and I feel like we also have this one from government-owned schools, but also grant programs that are given for studies and things. We already have it. Like after we did that big podcast on academics, there was a great New York Times article about how environment. So it was like a global, climate change study was rejected because it didn't didn't meet the agenda, right? And so it was rejected for publication. New York Times wrote about it and basically saying this is a problem, right? And like we already talked about a bunch of corruption, but you're like, but I've heard this many, many times that like if you don't meet a narrative, then you can't get publicized. And we were already giving evidence that if you do meet the narrative and you're not even correct, right? Like the pooping dog thing, right? You do get published, right?
The Mein
And
Kampf thing.
we're seeing this whole like you get money if you support these like if you do these studies. If you don't, you don't get money, right? And this basically exists. And like and it's that but we're seeing it on a big like through the government big back channels like this is like it looks and feels like a giant grift is what it looks like and like that this is just massive money and you're like what are we you're looking at all the money being spent the deficit and you're like what on earth are we spending all this money on and you're like and then you like look at on the cover and you're like whoa we're just throwing money everywhere and anywhere and it's a lot of weird stuff right and there's some good things but there's also a lot of weird stuff and like
and a lot of it just disappears. Where did that
disappearing all over the place
$500 billion go that just got misappropriated? Where is it? Somebody has it.
It
Josh
looks
Cragen's pocket.
I would not be living in my in-laws' basement if I had that money. The IRS just
come
charged me
on, I'm having a good
$6,000
time.
for taxes in 2020.
Come on, I'm having a good time.
I liked it.
Anyway, it is a little conspiracy theorist, but man,
it's not though. That's not
doesn't-
what we're
I
saying.
think it
Like
is
it's
a
that
bit
far off.
conspiracy
No,
theorist.
it's not. Like it's pretty obvious now that
The
we're
vast
seeing.
majority of billionaires in the United States are not left-leaning.
Okay, but all of these millionaires,
Let's
where
just be clear.
where are they making this money? Where is this DC?
But you
money
mean in
coming
DC?
from?
You're talking about DC in particular.
Where's
the
this money
millionaires in
coming from?
Florida, the millionaires in Wyoming. You know which state has more millionaires per capita than any other state? It's Idaho, and it's just farmers. It's
Cool.
not money in the bank. It's the
Okay,
property
they're
own.
earning money. Cool.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that this is some big conspiracy.
Nobody has a problem with that.
Right. Yeah.
Where's all the money in DC coming from?
So if you want to talk about DC in particular, yeah, I'm totally fine with that. But also it's a lot of like contractors that work with the government, and it's the CEOs of the companies that are contracting with the government. And they're charging mega amounts of money. And I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but Josh and I have a relative who is part of that, right? That they're involved in this. And just going to visit where our relative worked at times and hearing about how much they charge the government. This is part of the reason why I'm on board with cutting down the inefficiencies, right? I've seen it. I've literally seen it. I understand that. I'm on board with that. Yeah, we need to cut that.
But what I think the disconnect, because we're on that page. I think everybody
Yep.
agrees with that. I think the disconnect is you refuse to acknowledge that there's a lot of corruption.
No. I think what I'm saying is the corruption goes all around. I'm not saying it's just Democrats who are corrupt. And I'm kind of surprised that you're like, no, it's just left-leaning Democrats. And I'm like, no,
Never said that.
they're all corrupt. They're all corrupt.
I've
If
said
we're
that
going to
1,000
say anybody's
times,
corrupt, they're all corrupt.
But it sure
I
does
agree
seem
they're all
like
corrupt.
And
What I'm
we've said
saying
that a billion
is-
times, but it sure looks like there's a deep state that's mostly liberal. That's the thing Tom was talking about. All of these unelected officials that you can't get rid of, and they don't seem to do anything. They're not producing anything. These apparatus, these government organizations are bloated. They have way too many employees, and they're just hemorrhaging money. Okay, this does
Good.
it
Let's
seems
get
to
rid
be a
of them.
largely liberal deep state. Like that's all the evidence coming out supports that. And
Okay,
the right has
but
been talking
let
about
me-
this for a long time.
Can I
Now
just
we're
ask
seeing
a
the
question?
evidence.
Can I just ask a question?
No.
Okay. Hypothetical. Elon Musk goes into government organization X. Does not matter which government organization, right? Goes in and finds 2 employees who are actually doing their jobs. They're good employees. But he finds out one of them is left-leaning and the other one's a moderate. Does he get to fire the left-leaning one because the guy's a
He has to
left-leaning
make a
person?
choice.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be about their
No.
political views. It should be about whether they're doing their job.
Agree.
I don't care if they're
Well,
left-leaning or
we all
right-leaning
agree
or
with that.
moderate, right? But you guys are making it out as like the deep state is all left-leaning. I don't care if the deep state is left-leaning. I don't care if there's a deep state. Are they doing their jobs? If they're not, fire the fuckers. If they're doing their jobs, I don't care if they're on the left or the right. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Let
Okay,
them do their
let's
jobs.
just be careful with your word. You say you don't care if they're if the deep state is left leaning or right leaning or I don't care on an
Individuals.
okay, that's what I
Individuals.
want to get at. If it's an
Yes.
individual, I don't care if they're doing their job and they're not corrupt. But
Sure.
I don't want there to be a deep state. Like I'm not going to agree
I
with you
don't think
there.
there's a deep state.
There
I think
clearly
You
is
that's
a
really don't
deep
think there
state.
is?
There
no,
clearly
there's no
is.
deep state.
Um,
This is a conspiracy theory. That's all it is.
oh my goodness. You just won't see the writing on the wall. It's so bizarre to me.
I don't see conspiracy theory writing on the wall.
Okay.
Poke, poke, poke.
Well, it doesn't even hurt because you're just wrong. Like it's obvious.
I hope I am.
And
I
oh,
hope
this
I'm
this is
wrong.
what I want to get to. On the individual level, I don't care if you vote R or D, right? Doesn't matter to me. But look at the FBI. It was clearly left leaning to the point where they were trying to get rid of Trump. Like they had a whole bunch of agents that were working so Trump didn't get elected. So when you have the organization is leaning one way, that is hugely problematic. These organizations should be working for America's best interests, not promoting left or right agendas. And a lot of these organizations are promoting leftist agendas. Name me one that's promoting right agendas to the
The
tunes of,
military.
oh boy.
Josh, just statistically, the vast majority of people in the military vote Republican.
Sure, absolutely. Is that a problem?
Same with the FBI. The vast majority of people in the FBI vote Republican.
Where did the military have a track record of trying to get?
Did you?
No.
That's not
I
what
don't
you
care what you asked. Look what we're talking about. The FBI campaigned against Trump. When has the
campaign against him? They investigated him as they were.
They had a whole bunch of agents. How many agents did we have to prosecute? 60 agents or something that were going off on their own, doing smear campaigns against Trump, saying we're not going to let him get elected. The FBI tried to stop Trump. The organization itself was left-leaning. No. When has the military ever tried to stop a Democratic presidential candidate from being elected? Never. So your comparison doesn't track there. I'm essentially agreeing with you. I don't think we should fire people based on their party affiliation. If they're corrupt, fire them. If they're not doing their job, fire them. Yep. But if you have an organization that is clearly co-opted, it needs to be axed.
60 out of 10,100 agents and another 13,700 employees. 60.
But it went right to the top. The top directors were trying to not get Trump directed. We can do a podcast
sounds very
on that.
much like a conspiracy theory to me.
Which is what the left labels everything when people come after them. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory.
Show me the evidence.
Don't look under the rug. We just did. It's you.
The agent is Peter Strotz. He was the one that was brought before Congress because he was on the Mueller team, and he was part of the Mueller investigation. But he was also like his text that he was texting between him and a buddy and saying that Trump was compromised, and they were saying we hope he doesn't win, and save the world if we got to do something about it. Something like said stuff like that. He got brought before Congress, and he was even while he was under oath from Congress, he was the one that said that he questioned whether Trump was legitimately elected, and and he was like, if you think that he was actually elected, blah blah blah, and they were like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, it could have been Russia, blah blah blah, and so like even questioning, and you're like, it brought up a lot of questions of like.
So we found one FBI agent who was super sketch.
Yes, and
okay.
Okay. It kind of highlighted that there was a bias issue in the FBI, and that there was this is an organization, right, that is in Washington D.C. that is 92% voting 92% Democrat, right? That's a problem, right? And this is what I always talk about with like the Praetorian Guard in Rome, right? They're the group that if they don't like you, they will, they would
New
dispose
emperor.
of you, dispose of Caligula and put Claudius in, and they did it a couple other times when they're like, yeah, we don't like you, right? And that's essentially what the Praetorian Guard was, the Emperor's Guard. The FBI is under the purview of the president. It's supposed to be his kind of, but
No,
there's a
they're not
precedent for
supposed to
them
be. They're
turning.
supposed to be an independent organization that investigates federal crimes.
Well, that's what they're supposed to be.
That's
not
what
they
they're
are.
supposed to be. Well,
The president appoints
the head of the FBI.
leader of it.
Yes.
And I believe they're under his purview. Like the FBI is under like the direction of the
Yeah,
president.
if he can axe the head dude, absolutely they are. You serve at his will.
Yep.
That's a lot of power to give to the executive branch. That's the kind of stuff I have problems with because it's really easy to run out like Hoover, J. Edgar Hoover. He had king making power when he's in charge of,
and he shouldn't.
No, and that's the kind of and as soon as we bring that up, you go, oh, that's a conspiracy theory.
What, Hoover? I didn't say that.
No,
Hoover had king making power.
Anything. We bring up any evidence, you're like, oh, that's a conspiracy theory.
I have seen the evidence of the one FBI agent who was texting a buddy and was like, yeah, this is bad.
We'll
if you want to do a whole episode on this,
we can.
Send me the data, send me the evidence, send it to me. I'll read it. But right now you're like, the FBI was out for Trump. And I'm like, okay, they've got what, 25,000 employees and you found one or maybe 60. We're still talking about like way less than 1% may have had a vendetta against the former president. That's not a conspiracy that's like the whole FBI was corrupt. You guys are really expanding this to the extent that like, I just can't buy it. I'm not convinced even remotely.
There's a lot of precedents for this, Ryan. Under Obama, there were complaints from conservative groups that the IRS was targeting their tax exemption status. And Obama joked it off and said it was a conspiracy. It turned out to be totally right. And that the IRS was targeting religious groups and removing their tax exemption status.
It wasn't religious groups, it was conservative groups. Let's be clear about that. It was not.
Well, I think it was a lot of churches, groups. Right? It was removing
there were some, churches. But they rarely remove tax exempt status from churches. That is super rare.
The fact is, it was happening, and and it turned out like this was a conspiracy.
But it was a bit more complicated than just saying that it was targeted. There was something else going on.
Well, what I'm saying is,
it was targeted.
This
was deep state bull crap. That's what was going on.
We have a lot of conspiracy theories that turn out to be right, and
okay, pick one. Pick one, and we'll look at it.
Rush Limbaugh just told you to tell when he was based in New York, he would get audited every year, and he's like, I'm looking around at all the other companies. Nobody else is getting audited. I'm getting audited every year. So he moved his company to Florida, and they never audited him again. And then they found out, oh yeah, he was getting targeted by the liberals in New York because he was an outspoken conservative, right? And you can call this a conspiracy theory, but this happens. We have plenty of precedent for this, so we can push this back to a different episode. Tom wanted to talk about something else if we want to start an episode for that. But the deep state's pretty real. Elon just found a whole bunch of evidence for it, and you just refuse to see it for what it is. But you're agreeing you don't want this corruption in the government. But then you're turning a blind eye to the deep state.
Here's what I would say, and very
final
quickly,
words, Ryan. Yeah, final words.
What are you doing, Nixon, right there?
Yeah, I know.
No corruption there.
I'm not a crook.
I'm not a crook. We have no precedent of crooks in our government.
No, none whatsoever. The only thing that I would say about deep state is like I would really love for somebody to define it and then actually be able to point to evidence for it. And if you want to have a whole episode on that, like totally down with that. But I'm waiting for somebody to actually define it. No, define
it. We totally should do that. Let's do it.
Define it.
Had an episode.
Podcast.
Deep State Podcast. I would love for somebody to define it and then show me the evidence.
I already did define it. It's all of these non-elected government employees working in the background getting paid for doing nothing that you can't fire. That's the deep state.
No, that's not the deep state.
All right, guys. Thank you for everyone tuning in.
I just defined it, and then you said, no, I don't accept that definition.
Hey, I'm ending this program.
We're done. The podcast is over, Josh.
No.
It's done.
No. It will never die. The podcast will never die.
All right.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
Good night.
Hammered. We hammered that.
We did. Josh, we may not always agree when it comes to politics, even though we're trying, but there is one thing we agree on. There is only one way to clean up after going to the bathroom, and that's with a Lux bidet.
I've been a proud owner of a Lux bidet for years. I have literally owned a Lux Neo 320 since 2013. That's the warm water model. Talk about happy, fun, poopy time. When I leave the bathroom, I know I'm clean and ready to talk politics in a civilized manner.
Exactly. Using a toilet without a bidet is about as uncivilized as it gets. Civil conversations demand civil hygiene practices.
And that is why our listeners should get themselves a Lux bidet.
And just to be clear, Lux is not supporting one side or the other in this podcast. They support civil conversations and clean butts.
Listeners can get their own Lux bidet with 10% off by ordering at luxbidet.com and using our promo code FCBG10, Finding Common Battlegrounds 10.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. The music is by Ben Sound. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the participants and not those of their employers. For more information or more episodes, you can find us at findingcommonbattlegrounds.com.